All right, welcome back to the last edition of the Three Degens podcast, divisional rounds. We're going to go into the NFC North here. Just recap, we had a couple playoff picks last week. I know one of my favorite ones was Giants wild card. Jack was on the Commanders to win the NFC East. No, I'm just kidding. So starting with the Lions, what do y'all's place here?
I mean, thankfully, I've already hit a bet on them this year. They played the first game of the year. I teased them up, and then they had the total up and went under, and that hit. So I already owe them my deepest gratitude for starting off the NFL year 1-0. But I'm not convinced that's really sustained success. A lot of people in the fantasy football space frustrated with Jahmyr Gibbs not being used anywhere close to the draft capital investment that was made on him.
F that guy.
So
I mean, honestly, he's on one of my teams. F that guy.
That's tough. Dynasty owners feel a little bit better, but Montgomery was plodding along at 3 yards a carry for 3 hours. But the line now on the wins is 10.5, and I just have no interest in it. I just don't. I realize it should be inflated just with the 1-0 start, especially in a game a lot of people gave them a loss in, even without Kelsey and Jones in the game for Kansas City. But I have no interest in buying into the hype and the inflated price, at least at this point. I'm assuming it was 9.5 before this, off the top of my head, which I guess I like a little bit more. But I do feel like it's gone just a little bit too high with obviously the surprising result covering is, I think, what closes at 4-point underdog on Thursday. So I think they'll do well. I think Gibbs will, define his own role slowly through the season, even if it's in spite of the coaching staff. He's just too good to keep off the field, as we saw in his limited action Thursday. So as far as the win total goes, I'm off that. I don't think they win the division. I'll get to who I think does later, but that's all I've got for Detroit.
Yeah, I'm kind of there too. I didn't know it went up to 10.5. I was just looking at this website that had the preseason ones. I'm almost inclined to take under. We were going over their schedule. Like, they might start 6-3, 7-2 in the first 9 games, but the last 6-7 games of that, or I guess that'd be 8 games of that schedule, is not super favorable. There's a lot of 50-50 games there, and then you have the second games of NFC North, like 2-game divisional game series. They haven't won double-digit games since 2014. So that total being there, that's kind of like you're asking them to do something they haven't done in almost 10 years. So I lean the under, but I don't have any plays on lines. I also don't like them at plus 100. I think that's not enough for me to take them. Jack?
You guys kind of hit everything on the head, so I'm not going to say much here. I mean, I agree with all you guys are saying. I think 10.5 is unrealistic. I mean, they were a Kadarius Toney maybe 5 catches away from losing that game. We talked about Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs had 7 broken tackles in the 6 touches he had running out of the backfield. Insane that David Montgomery was just treading his tires there,
just falling over the line of scrimmage.
Well, yeah, it's absolutely the same thing. It's someone who had Jahmyr Gibbs on one of his teams. It does hurt to see. He's obviously the better running back, but Dan Campbell was stupid. I don't like the Lions to win the division. We'll speak on more of what I think will. But I mean, this division is up for grabs per se. I think they're all the teams are pretty even split. Maybe one favors the other in certain areas, but that's all I have on the Lions.
Yeah, let's just go straight into who we think is going to win this division. I'm going to take a little sprinkle on the Packers. Plus 450. I'm buying into Jordan Love here. I love the 2-headed running backs they have there. I think their defense is solid. I'm just really down on the Vikings. I think without Dalvin Cook, I don't like Madison. I don't know if he can – I don't hate Madison, but I don't love him. I don't know if he can withstand a full workload as a starting running back. But I'm just not on Kirk Cousins. I know that they're should probably be the favorite this year. But I'm all over the Packers to make the playoffs this year at plus 160. I'm buying into Jordan Love. But I'm also going to sprinkle half a unit on them winning the division. What are y'all's thoughts on division here?
For me, I like the Vikings. the Vikings do have a hard strength schedule, but I think offensively they're one of the better offenses in the league. I mean, you have, my boy Jay Jettis. I have a sprinkle on him in a second. Best receiver in the league. Kirk Cousins, I think, is a better version of Derek Carr as we were speaking of him. He's going to get you 9 to 10 wins. He'll get you in the playoffs. And are we going to see, are you like that Kirk Cousins? Or are we going to see, Monday Night Football or whatever, primetime Kirk Cousins? But I like the Vikings here. I like the Vikings over 8.5. I like them at 9, maybe 10. I think 9 or 10 wins the division here. And I also like them. I like them to win the division, honestly, at plus 260. But my sprinkle here would be Jettas to lead the league in receiving yards at plus 600.
Lead the league at plus 600. Okay. I wonder does anybody have the odds for him to lead the division? I would say it's probably favorited, right?
Oh, for sure. Oh, and then also to TJ Hawkinson, but I don't know the odds. I can't.
You want to know what I actually like, just looking while Grayson's looking for that? I actually like Jordan Addison to go over 675 yards receiving this year. It's minus 112. I think that Jefferson is going to get a lot of the coverage matchups, and that's going to open it up for Jordan Addison to get that. I know he has to compete with Hawkinson, but
minus 340 for Jay Jettis.
Minus 340. Okay, yeah, never mind.
The next closest is Amon-Ra plus 450, which I don't hate either.
I don't hate that, but he's not going to keep up with Jefferson.
That's a product of Thursday as well, though. That's not.
Yeah,
that was not there 3 weeks ago.
I was about to say, if you take that before the Lions game Thursday, like it's probably plus 600 maybe, or like it's definitely a little bit.
Probably 10 to 1, honestly.
Yeah. So I don't hate it, but I will add Jordan Addison over 675 receiving yards for my plays. Grayson, what you got plays in this one?
I've got more than a sprinkle on the Packers. I've already put a bet in. I think they do win the division. I think the line you mentioned is great. I think that's also something that's moved since Thursday, but it's moved in the direction that you want it to. You're getting more value on them before they even kick off, so I don't really mind that at all. I think the Lions going to be a good team. I would not be surprised if they got near that win total of 10.5 where it is now. But for them to be even money to win this division, this is one of those divisions where any team could win it, honestly. I think it's going to be the Packers. I love the playoff odds you mentioned, plus 160. The win total is 7.5, which seems honestly just disrespectful. You could miss playoffs. You can miss division like I could very well do. But if they win 8 of 17 games, you're hitting. It's minus 150, a little bit juiced, but that's about my threshold as far as futures goes with that. And it's one that I'm pretty confident in, so I'm willing to really extend my range with that one. So I love the win total over 7.5. Obviously bumping units down if you get into bigger odds like the division at plus 450 where it sits now. I think the playoff odds at plus 160 is worth a full unit, or whatever units you put on the futures, because they're going to be sitting and pending for better part of 3 months. So I think it's anybody's division to win, and I'll take a stab on somebody plus 450. So that's who I've got coming out of the NFC North.
Yeah. Does anybody have any like other win totals? I know we talked about there was an under in this one we were thinking about here.
Yeah, I've got under 7.5 for the Bears. Fields is incredible. Outside of that, there's not a lot to love. I think that, last year they started 2-1 and they won one game the rest of the entire season. I don't suspect it's going to be that bad because they've added pieces. They traded the draft pick, but when you have the quarterback in Fields, you can afford to do that and shore up deficiencies elsewhere. There's just a lot of deficiencies, and they didn't really shore them up all that much. I don't think DJ Moore is a cure-all at receiver. I think he's talented, but we've seen talented receivers come into that city before, and they were a 3-win team with them. So, it's going to be another down year for Fields, at least. If you put him on a league average team, he could bring them a lot further. But under 7.5 is even money, and I like that. Fading the Bears a bit. I think they do have the highest chance to finish last in the division, but I think it could be one of the more competitive divisions in the entire NFL.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is kind of just draw out of a hat type of division. I don't really like the Bears. I'm not gonna take the under 7.5, but I really like that play. I mean, like you said, with Fields last year, they won 3 games. Like they didn't show super promise at the end of the season that you start 2-1 and then you go 1-13. I hate that they hustled my Panthers into DJ Moore and about 17 freaking first round draft picks. But I think they're like 1, maybe 2 years away. I think I'd have to see a lot out of Fields this year for me to feel super confident with them, because I just don't think that he can consistently throw the ball to win games in the NFL. Anybody else got any plays in the NFC North? I think that's all I really have here.
That's all I got.
Sweet.